Hello my lovelies and welcome to my channel. Today what we'll be doing is doing a video analysis on a movie that I recently watched, and it's called The Chosen Ones, or in Spanish, Las Elegidas. Just a quick warning, there will be some spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched the movie, I suggest watch it and come back, or stay if you just kind of want to be in the discussion, but it will have spoilers, so just be aware of that. Okay, let's jump into it. Okay, so this movie, when you hear the title, you firstly think, oh, maybe they won something, but they don't really, do they? For those who have watched the movie, we know that basically the winning ticket here is basically to hell. It is that simple. But the story begins with our two main characters, Ulysses and Sophia. And they're a teenage couple. So we see them, in puppy love. And it gives us that sensation of when we were younger and we were in those teenage relationships, that is all just lovey-dovey. Like I said, puppy love. But something just doesn't sit quite right. And it's tough because from the beginning of the movie, you start to feel a sense of, how do I put it? Like a sense of unsettlement. Like you don't feel right. Your gut instinct starts telling you. And the director here, David Pablos, does an amazing job at showing us, that's the sense. He shows us and plays on all our senses with how the cinematography works. A lot of closed pathways and shadows and bars and shadows and things like that. Very narrow visuals. So you're constantly feeling slightly like trapped. So basically, when we see this puppy love, we start seeing Ulysses asking the questions, getting to know the family. Is one of the most important things when you start dating somebody. You want to introduce them to your family. So this next scene that we jump on is the barbecue scene, when the parents are having a barbecue, and basically they're like, we can see how the dynamics play here, because we see the dad, the older brother, and Ulysses, and two women and children. And we see the dad basically already, like in the beginning, we can start seeing the power dynamics that take place here, don't we? We start seeing the dad being the head of the house and strong and macho and asking questions and basically going on about his way of, this is my house. We can feel his presence. We can feel that he is the head of the house. Typical head macho, stereotypical male here. And one of the first red flags that I noticed is that when you are meeting your partner's family, yes, you do ask about the girl's family or the partner's family, and you are like, how's your family, blah blah blah, but no, here the dad asks very direct questions. Do you have a dad? Do you have a brother? What do we think that he was trying to find out here? He was trying to find out whether the girl had some kind of protection, right? Whether she had someone that would protect her. So they quickly found out that she was being raised by a single mother, and she had a little nephew. Not nephew, sorry, scratch that. A brother. Don't know why I said nephew. But basically here, she became the chosen one. That's the perfect pick for them, isn't it? I mean, we start to move forward in the relationship, and we see Ulysses feeling more and more guilt. And the dad basically comes and says, it's time. What is it time for? You see, one of the reasons that I decided to do this video is because when I finished watching this movie, I felt so empty, like you guys. Like I felt so empty in my heart, and I was trying so hard to find a way for someone to basically talk to me through it, took me through it, because it was really, really hard. And it's a very difficult story, because this, anyway, we'll get back into it. Sorry, tangent over. So we start, Ulysses feeling very, very guilty. We can see his face, we can see his eyes, and then we jump on the scene, the beach scene, where Ulysses and Sophia are sitting on the beach, and he confesses the truth. What is actually happening here? The moment that we go into this crazy road, and it opens such, anyway, he basically comes and says, my parents, especially my dad, wanted me to groom you so that you could go and work in the whorehouse. And I'm probably gonna, but whatever. I'll call it the House of Horrors from now on. But he basically says, I've been grooming you because you're the first one that I'm going to take to work in this house. And she's like, what the hell? Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying to me right now? You're telling me that you want me to go and do what? And so what happens? She basically, like any normal girl, she fucking got up and stormed off. She was like, nah, I'm not having this. I am not having this. I'm walking away. And good on her. But what we see here is the start of the manipulating. I mean, you see, Ulysses actually found out that he actually fell in love with this girl. He actually developed feelings for her, and the puppy love part was true. He fell in love with her. He fell in love with all his heart. But at the same time, we can see he's quite damaged, himself. And they are teenagers. We can see it, just the maturity level. And he says to her, no, what we'll do is we'll run away together. We'll run away. We'll go to the US. This movie was set in Mexico, so they just wanted to drive up to the US. And let's just run away, and we'll be together, and it'll be happily ever after. But we have to do it my way, because my dad and my brother are going to be hurting your family. They will hurt your family. So let's just run away together. Let's just go together. Let's just do it. And obviously, Sophia was feeling like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with your plan. But the moment that he said that these people were having a real threat onto her mother and her little brother, she's like, gotta do it. And let's remember, she's a minor. So, she's at a very young age, and she's very, you feel for her, because she's got that naivety, like, oh my God, she's very naive, and she holds her heart with her hand, like, she really does. She's very sweet and bubbly and lovely, and at this moment you can just see the shit, like her whole world is just like shattered. So after all of this ordeal, they decide to run away. They're like, okay, let's go. She runs, she walks away, and we see her just walking through the door in the darkness with a backpack, on her hand. And she basically leaves. She knows that this probably will be the last time that she'll see her family. How devastating is that? She loved her mom and her little brother. So we see them going on and getting on this car, and like typical teenagers, there's things they're going to go down. So basically, just to make it a little bit shorter, they jump in the car, they get on the highway, and they go. But then Ulysses starts getting phone calls. And that little bit of doubt in his mind, because he's terrified. He's terrified of his family. He's terrified of his dad. He picks up the phone. And he stops the car in the middle of the highway. Dad and brother get out of the car, rip this girl out of her car, and she's screaming and trying to fight, but she's quite petite. And they put her in the car and they come back and take Ulysses. So let's just for a moment, seriously, just for a moment, let's put ourselves in this girl's shoes. What would be the first thing that would jump into your head? He did this. He tricked me. He's doing this to me. Her soul literally left her eyes. She's scared, she's shocked, she's everything. And what happens to Ulysses? He goes and he gets beaten up. He gets abused by his dad repetitively because obviously he broke the rules. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. Did he? No, he didn't. And the movie basically just takes us from this point on, just seeing how Sophia's life changes. So what David Pablos has done here, beautifully executed. You don't see anything graphic. It is not, if you're wanting to watch because of it is not graphic. But what it does is it pulls on your heartstrings, because you can hear, you can see the narrow passages. It plays with your vision, it plays with your hearing, and all of it, like it's like a play on the senses, and you feel everything this girl is feeling. Like, you don't go a minute in that movie not feeling every single emotion that you can. It was a roller coaster. Like, I thought about it for days. It was in my mind forever. Anyway, I feel like it seems like forever. But then we get this point, and Ulysses is trying to think about a way that he could set Sophia free. He doesn't want her there. And Sophia is being stripped of her identity. They change her name. They change her. They're like, they don't even respond to them. Your name is Andrea now. We don't care who you are. We don't care what you were. They just, be good. Be good. Be a good girl. Be a good girl. And then off he goes. He's like, the driver's like, I'll drive you to and from work to your house. And every stage we feel like it's a prison. Like, there's no other. This is modern day slavery. It's human trafficking. What David Pablos is basically showing us is the human traffic, how it works in a small comparison. And this poor girl is just like, has the basics in life. After she's been exploited and hurt and just everything, she's just on a mattress, laid on the floor, in a microwave, basically like a little animal. Like, there's nothing. I think prison would be nicer, honestly. And Ulysses is trying to get her set free. He's trying so hard. He's like, Dad, what can I do to set her free? He's like, okay, I'll give her to you. But you have to bring me someone in return. Someone needs to take her place. And then we see the whole process again, but this time Ulysses' heart is like closed. And he's like, I'm here because I need a deal. I need a deal. I need to save my girl. I need to save her. And his dad says, you cannot see her. You cannot see her. And while he's going off and romancing another girl that we know is going to be suffering, Sophia is being tortured. We see things like, I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't want to be too graphic, but basically she didn't know anything really. So there's a girl there named Perla who helps her out, and she's also there because we find out that they have her son. So we see the same dynamic here. That is, they play on your family. They play on the fact that they will hurt your family. They do these weird things to stop a girl from menstruating, so that she can keep working. And one of the things that I see, she just keeps crying, obviously, because of her family. And she misses her family. And then we see this gentleman that comes through. He's looking for his daughter and asks her, like, how old are you? What's happening? Like, are you even old enough? She's like, yeah. But we can still see that she's got a bit of a fighter spirit. She's like, actually, wait a second. This isn't my age. I'm a minor. I'm I want to get out of here. I'm here against my will. What can I do? And then he goes in contact with Sophia's mom and lets her know what's going on. And she's like, can we contact the police? They say no, you can't. Because it will be more dangerous, because apparently the police is involved, is corrupt. And unfortunately, in real world situations, this is the case. The system is very corrupt, and these girls are trapped. They're trapped. Or they feel like they don't have real help when the good guys are the bad guys. And it is very, very disheartening. And now, on the last part of the film, when we see that that Ulysses is basically trading in this girl, he follows all his brother's steps and he makes her fall in love and blah blah blah. And then he goes, and when she realizes what's happening, they take her, they beat her up. He beats her up so bad. I think they might have taken her to a different house. And they beat her up. He beats her up. And then his brother's like, you need to teach her her place. You need to teach her this. And then they're going like, this poor girl. We don't see her getting hurt. But again, David Pavlos is a genius, because you can hear everything. And it's just so distressing. And it's just horrible. And when he's like taken all that anger that he had and put it onto this girl. He's like, oh, Sophia, you're free. And then they go and free Sophia. And free, and I say that like because she's not free. So she lost her contact with that guy that could have helped her get free to go to this trip. And they take her out, and the dad's like, we're going to be watching you. If you don't behave, we'll put you back. Again, be a good girl. Be a good girl. And they take her, and he's like, Ulysses is like, why are you not happy? I like saved you. It's like, how can you not understand, like, in her perspective, what you've just put me through? I'm terrified of you. I don't want to know anything about you. You just put me through the ringer, and now you want me to sit here and forgive you and play like everything's nice? But he doesn't understand. But what Sophia doesn't understand is that Ulysses is also in a form of slavery. He has been groomed and manipulated by his brother to do this job. And he's also trapped. He can't get out. He's terrified. Him and his brother are freaking terrified of the dad. They feel like his brother learned to adapt to it by saying like, okay, I'm getting some money at least. But they know that they can't step out of line. They can't step out of line. So everybody in their family is not free. She went from one form of slavery to the other, because now she's got to be a good girl and help cook and clean and support and look after the kids and blah, blah, blah. Well, he profits from the exploitation of women. So we see, now to just take a moment, it's a lot to take in. Because at the end, the mother is like, you should be more grateful for what my son did to you. She says to her, do you think someone else didn't have to take your place? Be grateful. What type of, the guilt that Sophia must be feeling, because she doesn't want someone else to go through what she's going through. She can never speak to her family again. She's stuck in there. So you see, after watching this film, I was devastated. I couldn't even grasp it. And normally I watch things like this, and if I watch a movie like this, I need to find something and I couldn't find anybody that was actually talking about the film. So I decided to just make one, and here we are. But what I want to discuss is the reality that it plays in here. So David Pablos is showing us a snapshot of what really happens. Human trafficking. And how to show us how these girls get tricked or groomed, and they're exploited because they're chosen, because they don't have protection, not much education, and they get trapped in this cycle of abuse. And it is a very real thing that is happening now all over the world. This is modern day slavery, and it is so scary to think about. How can we protect ourselves? How can we protect our daughters? How can we protect people? But when the system is broken and there's so much corruption, I can understand why people don't have faith in the system, because the people that are supposed to protect you sometimes play the bad guys, if not in most cases. It is a very real thing. And looking at some of the stories of real victims of human trafficking that have been rescued, and how they speak about this and how they try to overcome it, but it's something that you can never really erase, can you, from your brain? You can get as much therapy as you can and be grateful to be alive, but it's just not never going to be the same. You become a survivor. And what I do admire about the women in the documentaries that I've watched, of the women that have survived it, they don't want to play the victim. They don't play the victim. They're just like, I'm a survivor, I will get through this. And they bring awareness, and it amazes me how strong these women are. They just pound through. They just like, you know what? And it's not just women, boys, children that get looped into this vile circle. So it's important to have these conversations. It's important to watch these movies. And I appreciate what David Pablos has done, because it has opened my perspective. It has made me think. It has made me want to talk about this, to bring awareness, so that all of us can be aware of the red flags, so that we can teach our children, so that we can think about ways that we can protect ourselves, that we know that when strangers ask us random questions, you don't have to answer. It is your body, your mind, your choice to say these things. Yes, I understand that in some places, most of the time, if there is corruption, but if something happens, there are laws there to protect you. Get help, seek help, talk to someone, an adult, someone that can help you. Never ever keep a secret like that. If you feel uncomfortable, you seek help and you speak to someone that might be able to help you. So with that thought, let's all try and look after each other and be supportive of one another. Someone's pain is not greater than someone else's. Let's try not to be so judgmental and help each other. And we're all humans. We're all humans. Let's try and be there for each other. With that thought, my lovelies, I will let you go. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any recommendations or anything like that, leave them in the comment box. And I will see you next time. Bye.